pack working okay for you?
Mm-hmm.
I'm
up and running with no problem.
Yeah, well, if I don't try it this way, I'll try it on my phone. Yeah, sometimes you just have to close the app out and start over. Did you write down the meeting attendee? Actually, people's night.
They shut that clock off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine just turned 5:15, so. We ready to go?
I think we're ready.
Okay. I'm going to call the March meeting of the Board of Aviation Commissioners of the City of Warsaw to order. Now that my Board Packs app is working, we should all have access to the documents for tonight's meeting. The first one including or constituting the meeting minutes from the February 8th meeting. Everybody had a chance to review those?
Yes. I have. I make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the February minutes. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carried. Next, claims. What do you want to highlight for us this month, Mr. King?
We have one load of jet fuel to Ascent Aviation for the 24-226-62. And other than that, the only big thing that you guys are probably wondering about is the Morse. That was the down payment on the tractor that you guys approved the loan for. We were able to get all of that sorted out and taken care of. The series solutions for 460862, that was fuel to refill the tanks for our snowplow equipment at the airfield, diesel and unleaded gas for the 460862. And other than that, pretty quiet month, unless you have specific questions on anything.
What's blue globes?
Runway lights, the globes, the glass globes on top of them, and then the connectors, all that stuff comes from Blue Globes.
Okay, any further questions about the claims as presented?
Nope.
I move we accept the claims, especially the $24,226.62 for Accent Aviation Group.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed say nay. Motion carried. Next, it looks like we've got Robert on the line from CHA. Is that correct? Is this just you today?
It's just me today.
Okay. Well, you're plenty. I'm not saying we're not saying it's a shortfall of any kind. But I had Nathan down here. I wanted to make sure he wasn't supposed to kick in as well. So, go ahead, sir. What do you got for us?
So not a huge update on 1836. We're still working with the FAA and awaiting FAA response on the amendment. They continue to internalize the review of that. I think they'll have a couple more validation questions for us upcoming, hopefully, that were the result of the conversation with the FAA today. So that should be coming to a closure. Hopefully we can have that for next month's board meeting as a closeout. Hopefully that's the goal. For runway 27 obstruction mitigation power line project, AEP is still working on the development of the draft agreement for the board and airport management review. I will say that they are progressing. The design team is finalizing the scope and fee. We just internalized that those power lines do not need to be marked or lighted, and so that should help out with some of the fee. Pending the results of the final height of the towers, which we don't think will exceed what we have already proposed to FAA at this point. For the right-of-way, the surveyors are officially on board. We'll be receiving those documents soon. Volker has already started work, and survey notifications should be going out to the homeowners this week. for notice of survey and access to right-of-way property. We're still targeting April 26th for the completion of the baseline project. That's the official start of the project design and the signed construction agreement and the conceptual schedule for November 2023 construction completion is still intact. So,
Yeah. Robert, does that mean they believe the construction agreement will be done before the April 26, 2022 target, or do those things have much to do with each other?
no, they're saying that we think that that'll be done.
Okay.
But we have been hoping that we would be able to do some coordination with some draft language. As you can see in the first bullet, we'd like to see some of that draft language so we can start that coordination between the legal entities. Kyle Martin, who is the project manager for AEP, was on a update call today, and so he's gonna take over that coordination and start pushing that through legal so we can get some eyes on. If you remember, the last pre-construction agreement went back and forth between our legal entities, and so we want to make sure that we can streamline some of that process and get a signed agreement as soon as possible. Any other questions on that? For the CIP, we've been talking about this on and off for the last couple months. There is a little bit of a change to the CIP. We're continuing to coordinate with NDOT FAA. There have been some changes, minor changes to the immediate CIP. We had an update call with FAA and NDOT this morning. And so we're finalizing some of those things. The good news is that we're going to move forward with a grant for this year. It includes the program definition for runway 27 and phase 1 of the EA for fiscal year 2022. And so the FAA is expecting us to fast track those grant pre-app. And so in lieu of waiting until the April 2022 board meeting, it may take until then, but on the chance that we can get the FAA on board with us in the airport, we're requesting a board motion to allow the board president's signature of grant pre-application for submittal documents to NDOT and FAA on or before April 2022.
I move that we allow the president his signatures of the grant pre-application.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carried.
Good. And then the last thing for me, so the airport has received the results of the federal land use audit for Warsaw Municipal. The land use audit was conditionally completed pending the resolution of some non-aeronautical activities on the property. So this discussion will be necessary between the airport and the board on how we would progress forward with satisfying this requirement. I think the highest priority from the consultant standpoint is mitigating the risk to the airport. Because this land use audit is on the top of the stack of papers within the FAA, we want to make sure that we're complying with that. So we'll need to have a conversation on how we mitigate some of the non-aeronautical activities on the property. And that can include some further discussion outside of the board discussion, and we can do a motion or something in the future as to how we're going to resolve some of those issues that are on the airport right now. And with that, no invoices, we got the motion, and that's it for me. Any questions?
Nope.
Anything from anyone here?
Nope.
Okay, thank you, Robert. Good work.
Thank you.
Off to our board manager, airport manager Nick King. What do you got for us?
Fuel usage report and income statement. I'm sure you guys will notice on income, we've not billed the land leases for the year yet. We are final, at the last meeting I told you, we got the Exhibit Bs for the stormwater document that we are including with the land leases this year. And I am still finishing all of the Exhibit As that are going to show the footprint of what we discussed at the last board meeting as far as this is the actual land that goes with your land lease. That's just been, it's a time sink. It just takes a lot longer to do that for each individual hangar. We are hoping to have those in the mail on Monday. That is my goal, is to have that finished up this week, printed and mailed Monday or Tuesday at the beginning of next week, for those land leases.
Okay, get that money in so the income shows better.
Yep, and then with that, there will be a letter that I am preparing for all of the tenants to let them know some of these projects that we're working on with the exhibits, and letting them know that later this summer, we will hold another meeting during our normal scheduled meeting, but have a public hearing. I think it's smart for us to hear what the tenants have to say about their views of the proposed land lease areas. So I think the ideas that John and Dan and I have put together are really good and a great baseline to start. But I think before the board puts anything, makes a motion and makes it concrete, I think we should at least give the tenants the chance to say yay or nay, or come up with alternate ideas on how they think it might be fair as well. Other than that,
Okay.
fuel usage report is, we're within 800 gallons of where we were year over year from last year. It's pretty flat. Things have been picking up with the weather getting a little bit nicer, which is nice. The one thing that was not in your packet, because I received it today, and I didn't make copies for everybody because it's a 50-page document. Every year, the airport undergoes a underground storage tank inspection. We have passed with flying colors every year that I've been the airport manager, and to my knowledge, every year before that. IDEM changed a lot of rules last fall and forgot to let airports know. And so they let all of the other underground storage tank, like gas stations and places like that, but they forgot to alert airports to all of these changes. So instead of a perfect score this year, I think we had 19 different findings. We are working with since I'm on the General Aviation Committee for Indiana Aviation Association, I called a meeting of a lot of the GA airports. We got together and talked about this. We were not the only airport that was blindsided this year, so we are going to invite IDEM to come to one of our quarterly meetings and give an update as to why some of these regulations have changed. We do 95% of what they wanted us to do. We just didn't document it the way that they want us to document it, because we have our own special reports that we do for, like, our daily sump checks. We do all of the things that they ask us to do. We just don't record it in their format. So we're looking to try and work with IDEM to see if airports can use airport-specific forms versus some of these other state forms, and it would just alleviate us having to keep a second paper trail for IDEM on things that we already do.
We're not close to any kind of punitive action on this yet, are we?
It's already been completed.
Okay.
We fixed everything. I think the only thing we had to purchase actually didn't come from our department. There was two spill bins that the stormwater department purchased because it's for stormwater quality, and I think it was a total of $270. And IDEM they said they knew I was not the first person to call them and say, why weren't we made aware of this? And so they worked with airports. They've been working with airports for the last 18 weeks to try and get all of these different new requirements in place. So it's been a crazy couple months, but we did finally get it, and we have their blessing. They said everything that we have proposed is good. Now we just have to start keeping these documents for right now. So, yes, sir.
Are these changes they did as a result of legislative action a year or so ago, or is this something they did on their own?
This is something within IDEM. They are the ones that make the rules themselves. This is not legislative. From what I'm being told now, and again, I'm not the most educated person on this yet. I'm still learning quite a bit, but talking to a couple different consultants, Christopher Burke is the company that the stormwater and wastewater department use for a lot of their consulting. I used them in the past for a stormwater project that we did with the city 2 years ago. I just called up my contact and he's like, yeah, there's been a lot of changes. The state is trying to mirror what the EPA already has in place at the federal level. in their reporting and their forms, and it's just putting a standard where there hasn't been one in the past. Let me try and pull it up, just so you. This form, nope, not that one. There is a form that we have to fill out. It's literally a monthly checklist where we go through and look at our fuel system. Ray Scott is here. He's one of our line techs. Everything in that form, we don't do monthly, we do daily. And then we do an even more in-depth check once a month, not just on the fuel system, but on the trucks. And we showed them the documentation that we did all of this. That's why there's no punitive action. We're going above and beyond what they are requiring. We just don't have it on their piece of paper. And so that's why we're trying to work with them as an industry, because we are above what they do require. The second part, I've got a picture of it here, where we offload our fuel. We just needed to add a little bucket, so in case there's a dribble of fuel, we catch it in the bucket as we're offloading the trucks. So we just showed them that we were able to purchase those and get those in place, and that was taken care of. So that, it's more paperwork and record keeping than we were doing something incorrect. We just didn't document what we were doing, so. There's a long-winded answer to your question.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? Okay,
Other than that, we can move on to unfinished business.
go ahead.
Alrighty. Robert, I'm gonna share the screen just so if you want to see, you can see. Sewer lines, I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on the proposed lift station. So we are moving forward with that project right now. They are looking at using a small square right here in this area that's going to be approximately 100 by 100, and it's going to be all cement, and then they are going to improve this drive right here up to the gate, and right now it's just crushed asphalt. They're going to remove that and put in a concrete drive for the lift station. We are working on a memorandum of agreement and a right-of-way with the company that is going to be doing this project. Jay, I did look, and we are working on the covenants that you requested at the last board meeting for the new neighborhood that is going in. So the developer is aware of that. We just have to figure out what specific language to put in those covenants, but they were very amenable to that. That shouldn't be an issue. And then from here, the sewer line's going to come up and basically just go right down the side of our property there along the north side of the airfield, and then connect in with the main system line over here off of 15. My meeting today was to discuss with them, how can we service the airport with that sewer? As you guys know, our septic tank has been something that has been an issue in the past, and we are trying to figure out what is the most cost-effective way, both short-term and long-term, and who can pay for it when. So we're working with the redevelopment commission and Jeremy Skinner to try and figure out how much it's going to cost. We could put in a low-pressure main from our building up to that lift station, and it wouldn't be very expensive. The downside to that is now we have a grinder station that we are going to have to pay electricity on and maintain the rest of the life of that sewer system. The gravity system is a little bit more, it's about twice the cost, 3 times the cost up front, but there's 0 ongoing costs. Once the pipe is in the ground, they they go through and they keep the pipes clean, and then they video it every few years, but outside of major restoration or somebody accidentally drilling through the pipe, I'll probably be retired before those have to be replaced. Yes, Dan?
I just want to put my 2 cents in. I'm in favor of the gravity,
Ooh, and that,
because if you do a force main, then any existing or current hangars along that want to tie in have an issue tying in. If
Correct.
it's gravity, then it's easy to tie in.
The issue that we're running into, and they agree, everybody agrees gravity is the best in the long haul. The issue is this 300 north is the furthest south that we would be able to get gravity to that system. So the corporate hangars would either not be able to tie in, or we would have to do some kind of a forced main system from there. So Wessler Engineering is the engineering firm that wastewater is working on with this project, and they are basically looking at how can we make the airport its own little mini sewer system. I mean, it's not that we're going to be, but there are several hangars that currently have septic tanks. There are several hangar owners who know that these projects are happening and have said that they would like to hook up to the sewer system if it's brought out there. So all of that has been taken into consideration as they are designing the system. And everybody agrees the gravity is the best moving forward. It's just we've got to figure out the other downside with the gravity system. If we bring it down, we may have to saw cut all of these intersections here and then saw cut across to the building here. And so just coordinating all of that with asphalt repair and some of the rest of it, it's just taking a little bit of time, but we are working through the process.
They're pretty accurate with directional boring. I just had a month and a half ago, I had a 6-inch directional bore gravity line run from outside 200 feet and into one of my buildings, and it went well.
I
And
can
it was
teach you how to fly
non-expensive.
an airplane. We are out of my wheelhouse when it comes to directional boring and putting pipes in the ground. That's why I'm leaning on them. They did say that was an option, and they're just trying to figure out what that final cost is going to be. Dan, I can't tell you. You probably know better than I do. It could be $100,000. It could be $300,000. I genuinely don't know what that pipe cost per square foot put in the ground is. So
Well, obviously, it depends on the size of the pipe, but for the 6-inch, the bore for 200-foot boring was about $2,300 plus the cost of the pipe.
yep.
Now, I may already have been told the answer to this, or maybe it's a dumb question, but is the Dells all septic?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And I do not believe, I can't speak for the wastewater, I do not believe there's any plans to tie them into this anytime at all.
But probably if they're not septic, the answer is I would suspect there would be, because they've been there for a long time.
Yep.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Are we gonna have any problems when we build a new
Terminal,
terminal?
all of that, I've told them all of our future plans, they have a copy of the airport capital improvement plan.
Okay.
They know all of that, they know the potential park in the future, on the east side of the airport, and they are building this structure. Putting it in, the actual structure itself, the difference between the different sizes is not the expensive part, it's the actual construction and putting it in the ground. So they are building it to the future size, not what is needed now, so that we can grow into it over the next few years as we move forward on those projects.
Are you thinking for the line to run along the fence row?
Between the fence and the road, somewhere in there. Yep. And depending on if it's a gravity, they were saying a gravity system all the way from 300 north, I mean, you could be down probably 17, 20 feet, I'm imagining, by the time you get to that lift station. So again, that's where the engineers are getting, they're doing their work and earning their dollar for that. So hopefully we'll have some better drawings and easement paperwork, agreement paperwork, all of that at the next board meeting, so we can get that finalized and you guys can see what the actual pipe going in the ground, the proposed areas, all that kind of stuff.
Mhm. Okay, anything more on that?
Nope.
Any other questions on sewage? Okay. What else, Nick?
Last thing on the agenda is sale of Hangar 2526. And while I've got Beacon pulled up here, I'll just, that is this hangar right here. When that hangar was built several years ago, the owner had part of it for personal use, part of it for business use. And so it was given two different hangar numbers. They have since combined those two leases. They've gotten rid of, they had basically dissolved one of the entities and just put everything underneath one name. Well, that hangar is now being sold to the gentleman who's been renting it for the last 4 or 5 years, and pending your approval. And so, two things, just one, you don't need to make a motion on. If this goes through, it will no longer be hangar 2526, it will just be hangar 25. There is no firewall, so there's no reason to keep two hangar numbers there. And two, we just need approval from the board for Sylvius Aviation LLC to sell the hangar to Keller Real Estate Holdings LLC.
We have a hangar 27?
We do.
Okay, so someday, when we're all gone, somebody's gonna try to figure out where the hell hangar 26
was.
went.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, it just will have disappeared.
We can put a notation in.
Okay, somebody leave a note, that's
Yeah.
right, yeah.
You can be here.
For those of you in 2072, yeah.
And
Okay, so you need a motion to,
Kenny has been a tenant at the airport, like I said, for 4 or 5 years now. He's been renting the hangar and is in a position where he'd like to purchase it. He's been a great tenant. He buys fuel from us. He actually operates a online helicopter ground school class. And then he has people fly in the nice weather months, and they'll come out and get their helicopter rating at the airport.
Wow.
So,
Good.
yep, and he actually just got 2 new helicopters to add to his fleet as well. So we're very excited to make him a permanent official member of the family, even though he's been with us for a few years now. So
What's the name of that?
it's, the business itself is online helicoptergroundschool.com or something like that. I'd have to go back and look.
And the gentleman that's buying the hangar?
His name is Kenny Keller.
Ken?
Yep. So if the board approves, I have the lease here for you guys to sign.
okay, so your motion, we have to, we're doing two things, right? Or-
Nope, just one.
Just one, just the approval of the lease.
Approval of the lease. Oh, well, do you guys want to buy the hangar?
No.
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 Okay. Then yes,
That
just
went
approve the
quick.
lease.
Can we take a
You
look
don't
at
want it, do you?
No.
No. It's unanimous.
And the minutes will reflect our declination of that particular provision to purchase
We
the
need to make
hangar.
that a motion, then, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah,
So, yes, you
I
do need
move
to.
that the Board of Aviation decline to purchase hangar 25/26.
Second.
been moved and seconded, any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, saying nay, motion carried. Yes, we quickly want to turn that down. And then we need a motion to approve the lease with Mr. Keller.
I
Okay,
make the motion
Can we
to
s-
approve the lease.
can we see it?
The
Yeah,
lease?
itself?
Yeah.
Uh,
It's the same lease that you guys approved at the,
Same form.
yep, it's the same form, just the hangar number
Pass it down.
and rent rate and everything are the same. And then Jay,
This lease is without the added square footage too, right?
correct. Yep. Jay, I will lean on your legal mind, not legal advice, but Sylvius has asked the board to sign a document that just acknowledges their termination of the lease. I just got this a couple hours ago, and city attorney has not approved, has not seen this yet. Can we approve signing of this pending legal approval? It's just,
Why wouldn't we wait?
I got it literally as I
That's what I
was
mean, yeah.
driving to the
Yeah,
airport.
why wouldn't
so-
we wait? I mean,
Yeah.
and I would just say, let's just let it go through normal channels. I don't think there's anything.
They're trying to close on the hangar, and they wanted this as part of the documents to close.
Oh, okay.
And that's why, so,
Okay, and when are they planning to close? Do you have any idea?
Gene.
I think right now, the goal is April 1st.
Mm-hmm.
So we could schedule another meeting or pending legal. I'm not a lawyer, but I read it as I was sitting here before the meeting, and I didn't see anything that was out of the ordinary. It is basically we no longer have any interest, rights, or holdings in hangar 25/26, and would like the board to acknowledge that we don't have anything to do with that hangar anymore. We've never, in my 9 years,
I was going to say, that's a little out of ordinary to begin with.
we've never done it, but
Yeah,
Is it,
I guess think about what they're saying here.
is it wording in there contingent upon the closing of the sale?
I believe, yeah, I believe so.
Oh, I mean, it's fairly straightforward, other than this other stuff, because all I say is that we're agreeing to terminate the lease.
Yep.
They're taking 3 pages to sign
Yeah.
it, to say that, that's all they're saying.
Yeah.
So we're terminating the lease with them, right? That's what we want to do.
Yeah, which we
I don't
did.
have a problem in approving it.
Okay.
We were talking about Keller first.
Yep.
Did you see what you wanted to, Dan?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, sure, there's that.
Thank you.
There's
Yep.
paper. Do we have a motion on the Keller lease?
Gene motioned.
Did
I-
Gene
I
do it already? I'm
motion,
sorry,
yeah.
okay. Who
We need
seconded
a
it?
second, I interrupted.
Okay.
I'll second.
Dan seconded, okay. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed say nay, motion carried. Now, we need a motion to approve the lease termination agreement.
That's just a second copy for.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve the lease termination agreement upon the sale of the hangar.
Second.
Okay, been moved and seconded to approve the lease termination agreement with Sylvia's, what's there, what are they, LLC now?
Yep, Sylvia's Aviation LLC.
That's right, okay, I see it right here. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed say nay. Motion carried. You can go ahead and deliver that to them, Nick.
Okay. Other than that, the next board meeting is April 12th. I don't have anything else unless the board does. I do have one request, if we can entertain it. The May meeting, I am leaving for vacation, and it'd be pretty tight, with the flights and everything for me to keep the meeting on the 10th. So do you guys know of anything at the beginning of the month where we could maybe move it up a day or two?
When are you leaving?
I'm leaving as soon as the meeting is over.
Oh, okay. Well, because I'm actually not getting back in the month of May till that day,
Okay.
so.
Could we push it out a week or two? Like to the 24th? Would that be okay with the board?
I'm okay with it, I think.
Yeah, and then it'll be 3 weeks again till our next meeting, so.
Because it's late in
Yeah.
June, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do it the 24th in May. Is that okay with everybody?
May 24th?
Yeah,
Yep.
instead of May 10th.
And I'll send out a reminder to everybody when we get closer, just.
Yeah, yeah, particularly like right before May 10th.
Yeah.
Okay, any further business from the board members?
Nope.
Josh, you got anything for us? Okay, okay.
Keep running.
Well, then I will declare the meeting adjourned, and next board meeting will be April 12th, 5:15. Be
Thanks,
there
Robert.
or be square. Thank you, Robert.
Yep, thanks,
I love
Robert.
looking at that language, when we talked about this being onboarded and that being onboarded.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Calvin and Hobbes, where Calvin says verbing weirds words.
It does,
I
doesn't it?
never forget that.